This is the week. This is the week. Players report on Tuesday and practice starts on Wednesday. Howdy, Ags. Football is upon us, so we have a lot to get through because you need a fall camp preview. We have got to take a look at that because you know me, if you've been listening to anything, I'm pretty high on the Ags this season. I got a load of reasons why. You should go check those out and see what I think about all that. But my thought is we're in the neighborhood of 10-2. Great. That's all fine and dandy. Previews, opinions, blah, blah, blah. If that's going to happen, if we're going to have a bounce back season and we're going to have a season that we've been expecting and we thought that Jimbo could deliver, there's some things that got to happen in camp. So that's what my preview is focused on today. I'm going to give you 5 things I think are big time in this camp and are really going to decide whether or not we have the season we've been looking for. Now, first is, of course, the QB battle. It's between Max and Connor. If you want to believe that, some people are really big in the Connor camp, some are really big in the Max Johnson camp. Toss that aside, okay? We got to get it figured out. Whoever it is, Jimbo, Petrino, and whoever you believe is making the actual choice, got to make the right choice. So that's got to happen. When is it going to happen? 2 weeks before camp. This is not going into the season. We're not going to go try and play New Mexico and get this figured out. That's not happening. we got Miami's second week, so we've got to have that down pat. So 2 weeks ahead of time it's gonna be decision is going to be made. Now, how will you know? I think is the more interesting question. How will you know if the right decision was made? You'll know the first series. You'll know the first series, and this could lead into a few different things, to be quite honest, and some of the things that are going on. Because my next topic is O-line, but I look and see how smooth the offense is operating. How many plays does it take us to score? Do we score on the first drive? Do we end up punting? Is it a 3 and out? I mean, a lot of things could indicate this, but I think you'll know. If we choose correctly, we shouldn't be floundering around. So that's how I think you'll know. O-line, of course, that whole decision beforehand is hugely dependent upon the O-line. That's a big deal in fall camp. Fall camp has got to get the O-line figured out. Here's my prediction on who I think is going to be left to right. I think we're going to see Zune, then Dewberry at left guard, Foster back at center. Wyckoff has hit the transfer portal. Layden Robinson's going to be senior this year, so he should be leading the group from that standpoint. And then Fothery on the right side. We got a really good situation going on, right? So Zune, Foster, Fothery all came in the same year, 2021. And these are all 4-star recruits, okay? Fothery and Foster being the highest, I believe, like 99.7, but all 4-star. Layden's the lone 3-star, and Dewberry's also up there. Freshman last year, going to be a sophomore this year. That's who I think it's going to be. We got a good situation going on behind them. We got to get that figured out because you know me. When we get to these New Mexico, Louisiana Monroe, Abilene Christian, I want to see how the second team performs. Can we still move the ball? Is it gonna be any easier? That's what we're gonna be looking at in the first series. Are plays made easier? Are guys open? What's the scheme look like? That'll start with the O-line, and I think we've got a really high quality set of backups that's going on. Chase Basantis has been killing it so far from everything we've heard. You saw Naboo last year filling in, some center left guard. I think you've got Hunter Erb that's came in, I believe, in the same class as Foster. Might have actually been the following year, 2022. But 4-star guy as well. You got Shanahan, came into camp, I believe, from last year with Basantis. Been a little bit hurt, but from his senior year, but could step right in if he's healthy. You got Thomason and you got Aggie and Moko as well. So we got a slew of guys to choose from, and we need to find the right guys to get this gelled, and they got to gel quickly. So that's my number 2 task to get accomplished in fall camp. Third, trust. And whenever I say this, I mean between Jimbo and Petrino. There's been a lot out there about who's going to be calling plays. I think it's an interesting topic about how you're going to know who's calling plays, and I will cover that in a whole different pod, okay? So this has to be earned by Petrino. It has to be given by Jimbo. So just out, I think, today, Jimbo's saying they're of like minds. You've heard the criticism, though. He's just kind of been a little bit standoffish about answering who's going to call plays. Evan Stewart was talking about this just the other day in an interview. The way these guys are talking, you can tell who's likely to be calling. Now, of course, we get her there that day of, and you see Jimbo with all the papers and all the laminated pieces he's got. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be there, but if the trust is there, then we won't have to worry about it. So that's my third big key for fall camp. Fourth and fifth, kind of intertwined a little bit, but we've got to have some leaders on this team. We got to have some guys step up. I got a list of guys I think need to step up, and they can lead how they want to lead. I prefer some vocal leading. I don't think we had that last year. I don't think guys were stepping up. I just didn't see it happening. Guys are acting up in the locker room, whatever they're doing. Who's calling them to the carpet? Somebody's got to do that, and somebody's got to do it on the practice field as well. So I think your most obvious candidates for this are going to be Damani, McKinley Jackson, and Layden Robinson. These are our most senior guys. But of course, it would be great if Connor, if he gets a starting job, if he would step up. Any of the guys on the defensive line, perhaps Fidel Diggs, Shamar Turner, Cooper would be a great guy to step up. I think it really could be his time. It may be his defense that he's running. Great to see him step up, but we're going to need leaders one way or another. Culture change is my fifth thing, and that's why I talk about these leaders right before, because culture has changed the best from the inside out. And the culture change has already happened. We've expelled some of the guys that were beating this thing up. So those bad actors, have been exiled from the team. The next step that I think needs to be accomplished, I feel pretty confident it's taken place already, and it's in the works, is just the mantra that's going to be going on in this camp. Is there a sense of urgency? What's the attitude like from Jimbo and from the players? And I think there's a key metric for this. I think there's a really great key metric for this. I'm hesitant to say it because I'm an old baseball soul and I'm superstitious, and so I don't want to mention it. But I'll toss it back out there after fall camp starts, and we'll see how things go. But let's see how we make it into fall camp and through fall camp, and then we'll kind of dissect where that culture might be. So these are the big things for me right now. I'm looking at all five of these, and I really want to see how these are going to pan out. And if they pan out, I think we're going to get that 10-2 season. And man, the thought of that taking place is music to my ears. But camp is it's not an easy thing. We've come out with injuries the last few years. We've come out with suspensions the last few years, and we just really have not hit the ground running. If this team makes it through fall camp and we hit the ground running,